Hello all. Today I'm going to be talking about a product that's called Optiflex and also be giving you a small walkthrough of it and explain how it works. So basically Optiflex is a product that is targeted for small scale industries or medium scale industries and also the IT sector. Now due to the present COVID situation, there are a lot of people who have been working from home and due to their corresponding roles, it becomes a little hard for them to work from their home based on limitations of hardware. So our platform jumps in to save the day as it bridges the gap because everything else is on the cloud. So what happens is, let's take an example of a designer. So for a designer who's been working from home, he needs a lot of high-end applications powered by a lot of high-end hardware. So in this case, it's not feasible for the employee to go buy a machine that serves the needs because that can be very expensive. So instead, what our platform does is it provides the required virtual machine on the cloud based on the applications, and the employee can easily log into the machine and use it, and it gives a proper, local experience. So let's get started, and I'll show you how to log in as the IT admin first. So the IT admin of the company is the person who is responsible for creating roles for the employees and assigning applications to the employees. In order to do so, I will have to first log in. So the login process is similar to logging into uh, any other website where you have to enter the email address and you would get an OTP to the email address. So the OTP is valid for 2 minutes. Here is the OTP. So ideally, this is the first location or the first page that the IT admin comes to, where you have to enter the details of the business, the domain name, contact name, administrator name, and other such email addresses and details. Coming to the next option, that's called locations. So under the locations tab, it basically means the location of the office. So let's say that an office might have various locations across the country. So the same thing, the same locations can be, fed into the platform, and multiple locations of the same company can be created. So for an example, let's just take the location as, let's say Karnataka, and street would just be a random name, sorry. And city would again just be random, India, and this is the pin code. So this location is created, and what the IT admin can do is the IT admin can also add employees under this location. So let's say that there are about 10 employees who are working at a location in Bangalore, and so the IT admin can just create a location called Bangalore, create 10 employees under the same location, and assign different roles and applications to that. So let's go a little ahead and see how that is done. Now that we've created a location, we have to head into the application shop. Under the application shop, the IT admin can then choose the applications that are required for the employees in order to perform their day-to-day tasks. So let's just select a few applications here. Okay. And if the IT admin cannot find any application, he can just do so by just clicking on choosing the application name, pick a category, and request. So this then goes on to our backend team where the request is seen and the same applications can be brought onto the platform. So I'm going to click on submit for now. As you can see that these are the few applications have been selected. You can click on submit. Now that I've selected the application, I have to create a role for the employees who are going to use these applications. So let's just say design. Now inherit apps from this role. So let's say that there are a few roles that So let's just say that there are a few, roles which have the specific application such as this. So what happens now is if you click on inherit apps from this role, so this is a role that's already created before. If I choose developer and click on submit, all the applications from this role of the developer would be transferred to this. So that way, it eliminates the possibility of adding the same applications over and over again. So for now, I'll just click on submit. So as you see, we have two roles that are created. Now that the role is created, we have to add employees to the role. So this is the same as having around 10 employees with the role of a developer. So same thing goes here. So the role is of a design engineer, and if we have to have about 10 people who want to use this role or the applications, the details can be fed into this, and all the 10 people would get the same list of applications to use. So in order to create a user, you have to click on users, click on create. So there are two ways of doing it. The first way is by entering the details manually, that is the username, user ID, email. Select the role to which you want to add the employee to, and then choose the location. So out of the three locations, which location would the employee be working from? So the same thing can be picked here and click on submit. Now the second way is by uploading a CSV file, which is the most easier way to do so. So you just have to click on upload CSV, choose the file, and then click on the role that you want to enroll the employee for, choose the location and click on submit. So once a role has been created and the user has been added to the role, the user gets an email confirmation saying that he's been added to the specific role. And then the employee gets a separate set of credentials to log into the virtual desktop. As these set of credentials are specific to the employee, they cannot be accessed by any other employee from the same organization. So the email confirmation that the employee gets is somewhat similar to this. So this is, it gives you the information that the account has been issued. It has a specific URL, a user ID, a password. And it also gives you, three ways of accessing it. The first way is by using the web link. This is the web link. The second way is by clicking on the remote desktop on Windows. That is, and then using this user ID and password. So instructions for Windows machines is also given. So it says launch the attached remote desktop application and enter the credentials above. So the desktop application for that is mstsc.exe. So this comes installed by default on Windows machines. You just have to enter the credentials and then log in. When it comes to Mac or an iPad, you would have to download the Microsoft Remote Desktop client from the application store and then use the credentials to log in. So the easiest way to log in is by just using the URL, that is the web client. So I'll just open the link in the new tab here. So here the employee has to enter the credentials, which is the username and password. So here is the password. The employee has to then click on this, click on allow the permissions, and wait for the desktop to load. So the best part about this is that the entire thing is happening over the web browser itself, and there's no need to download any external file, an external RDB file, and everything is happening over the web browser. Also, another thing about this is that the minimum internet connection that is required to access this is just 1 Mbps, and this can be accessed from a tablet, from a mobile phone, from anywhere basically. We can also go into the full screen mode here. So this is the full screen mode, and it gives me a proper Windows experience. So it doesn't feel like I'm using a machine on the cloud. So as you see, there are a few selected applications here, and then just to show the latency, I'm just going to be typing something random, and this is the latency. No matter how fast I type, anything and everything is loaded without any lag or delay. Also, the employees can, carry on their work and then save it here, as we also can give them a separate file to save the work that has been carried out. So we can give them a storage location here, and all the work can be mapped onto this. Now, I'm sure that one question will arise that, let's say if there's a team of developers who are working on some code, And it's quite obvious that the same code has to be accessed by another team to test it, or another front end developer to see the source code. So what happens to that? In such cases, we give a network storage drive that can be accessed by the developers only. So this can only be accessed by developers and can only be edited and made changes to by developers, and cannot be accessed by anyone else. So that can also be done. Now moving on to the other features of a platform, we have a feature called analytics. So analytics is a very important feature, as when you're working in an organization, it's very important to monitor the employee. And now that the employee is using a machine on the cloud, it becomes more important to monitor the kind of sites the employee is accessing, the kind of data the employee is viewing, or to just find out if the employee is using the virtual machine for his personal use or for work use, and etc. So in analytics, we have different kinds of analytics. So if you click on the drop down, we have overall usage by application usage, employee usage, location usage, and by time frame usage. So let's just go to overall usage, and we have the from date and the to date selected. So we see that Firefox is the most used application when compared to Excel, Adobe, Chrome, and Outlook. Now if we go to by application usage, we can see which application is used the most, which is Adobe Reader, and we can also see the date. Coming down to by employee usage, so we can have the from date and the to date selected. We can select the employee. So since there's only one employee selected, it only shows one employee, and we see that these two applications were used the most. And if you click on log on history, we get a proper history. So this is the login time, the logout time, and the total usage minutes. So since I've not logged out of this, it doesn't show anything yet, but on successfully logging out, it would also give the total usage in minutes here. So we can also see by location usage. So for a particular location of India, we see that from the date of 1st to 9th, so we see that Firefox and Excel were the most used applications. And if you click on another location, there's no data because there are no users for the same location. So this way, analytics plays a very important role in gauging the employee. Next, coming down to billing. So the billing cycle is also placed here. So that way we can see the invoices, the expense structure. Now let's say that there's an issue or something that the IT admin is facing. So in such cases, the IT admin can, create a support ticket. The support ticket can have the email of the employee. He can CC it to someone, enter the title, enter the description. It can also be the email to the manager or to our support team at the backend, and click on create. So what happens is when the support ticket is created, it immediately shoots an email to our backend team where they can resolve the issue. You can also keep your manager in CC for that, and the support team can immediately reply to that ticket, and that answer can be seen here, or the resolution can be found here. So that's all about it. Thank you. Have a nice day.